Hi everybody, and welcome to Photomikes Garage. Well, as you can see, it's a nice sunny day. There's snow on the ground, sunshine up in the air. I should be out playing, skiing, snowboarding, doing something, but instead I've got a problem. Now, my 2013 FRS, which you see behind me, has been extremely reliable. I love the car. I'm probably going to keep it forever, but just recently I noticed a problem. This right here is the clutch cable. This is a flexible cable that mounts onto the back of the engine here and operates the slave cylinder, and this pushes a rod in and out which operates your clutch. It lets the clutch in or out when you push the clutch pedal. So this transfers fluid to the slave cylinder from the clutch master cylinder right here. It goes through a hard line all the way to here, and then it goes to a flexible line because of the vibration of the motor. It goes under and over to here. Now the thing about this is that I noticed just about a few days ago that it actually is wet around here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can get some fluid. It's wet. So as you can see, that is the clutch line fluid, which is actually just brake fluid, and that is leaking out of this flexible line, and it's leaking right at the crimp right here where the flexible rubber line goes into the metal crimp here. This is where the leak actually is. Now the clutch is still working, but this could have a catastrophic failure soon, in which case all the fluid would be lost and you wouldn't be able to put the clutch in or out, and you would be stranded. So today I'm going to simply replace this flexible clutch line with a new one, and that should take care of my problem. Okay, so this is my replacement line, and as you can see, it is OEM. In other words, it's a reinforced rubber line. It is not a metal braided line like you can get from the aftermarket for more money. I went with this because I don't think it's really necessary for me and what I do to have the braided line. So I'm just going to go with OEM because I think that will be okay for my situation, and therefore also it's a lot less expensive. I've got this for $10 US from a place called carpartsdiscount.com, and it's actually made by Centric. They make a lot of OEM replacement parts for different cars, so this is relatively a cheap way to go. You don't have to spend, you know, the $50 or sometimes even $100 for the aftermarket lines if you just want to go OEM, which is what this is. Okay, even though this is obviously a relatively simple job, how can I mess this up? It still requires a monster to complete this job. Okay, once we open this line here and also take off this line here, fluid will escape, and brake fluid is highly corrosive to paint. So you should try to minimize getting any drips on your car. Try to collect as much as you can, and you definitely don't want to get it on any of the paint, especially the outside paint of your car. Now, of course, it's rather hard to see in here, but basically I'm going to undo this nut, this basically line nut here, and clutch line nut here from the hard line that will then connect to the flexible line. So this one has to come out. For that you need special flare wrenches. So this is a flare wrench. It goes right around the nut, just enough room in the opening here for the actual line to get through, the hard line to get through. Goes around the nut, and then make sure that you do not round off the nut. You don't want to do that. So you have to get yourself a set of these from the tool store to help you get off that line. Okay, so for this flare nut, I'm using a 10mm flare wrench. And it's really hard to reach in here. This is making an easy job a lot harder. Okay, yeah, okay.
One eternity later.
Okay, I got it loose. Now we actually broke it loose a minute ago, and it was on pretty tight. I had to put some energy into it. And the thing is that if you can't get this off easily and it starts twisting the line, you got to stop. I mean, it shouldn't take too much effort. If it starts twisting the line, you're going to wreck everything. In that case, you should go to applying some heat and some penetrating oil to try and get this off. But right now, as you can see, I've got it loose. Okay, the next step is to remove this clip right here. That's like a C clip. Gonna push that up. This is holding the soft line to this bracket here. Once you get this clip off, this will come off after you've got this taken off. Now, hopefully, we'll be able to pry this off with this screwdriver. There we go. See, it's moving. We don't want to lose this C-clip going down the motor, so we're going to have to be really careful here. Okay, I got it, and I didn't lose the C-clip. Okay, if you got a cap, it's a good idea to put it over the end here, and that will help prevent any more leakage, or keep the leakage to the minimum. We moved our flexible line over to here. Now we just have to take off this nut right here, and then we can remove the flexible line and put the new one on. Okay, we're using a 14mm wrench to take off this bolt. Okay, I guess you don't need me to tell you this, but lefty loosey, righty tighty. So lefty loosey. Okay, I got it. See? That came loose right away. That came off right away. And it's important to remember that as you remove this hose, you do not get any drips of the brake fluid on your paint. It'll wreck your paint, so be very careful as you do that. Obviously, the best idea is to cover all your painted surfaces with some sort of covering to prevent any damage. I didn't do that because I'm quite lazy. The line is off. This is where the bolt was. It went into the slave cylinder here. And as you can see on this end, we've got two washers. This washer goes up against the slave cylinder, and on the other side, on the bolt side, we have another washer here. So it's important that ideally that you should replace those two washers when you put on your new line. Okay, we've got our new line with new washers between the head of the bolt and the contact surface, and let's get this installed. Okay, so now we got to get the soft line connected to the hard line here. Okay, you can see that we've got the C-clip on that holds the soft line in position next to the hard line here. Okay, as you can see, the C-clip is fully seated with a few taps from a hammer with the screwdriver, and now we just have to tighten up all the bolts to their final values and then bleed the system. That is, get all the air out of this line right here. Okay, the flare nut is now tight. C-clip is now in. Next, we tighten up the 14mm bolt right here. Okay, all bolts tighten up, C-clip in. This bolt is tight. Now we're ready to bleed the clutch line because there's air inside the clutch line, so we must take fluid and push it through the line and get rid of the bubbles. And the way to do that is you open up this nipple right here, and that will let, as you push fluid through, the air will come out right through here, and that will bleed the air out until you have just fluid and you're ready to go. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a plastic clear line that's attached to the nipple, but the actual bolt is still exposed, so I can open and close that with a wrench. So what I'm going to do is you get an assistant to push down on the clutch pedal from inside the car. That will push fluid from the clutch master cylinder through the line all the way to the slave cylinder, and when this nipple is open, the air will be pushed out and through here. Then after the clutch pedal is all the way to the floor, you'll close this nut, and then more fluid will be drawn into the line, and then you do this as necessary, repeat as necessary till all the air is out of this line and you just have fluid. Then we should be ready to go. Okay, start pushing down. Is it all the way down?
Yeah.
Okay, let it up.
It's not going back up.
Okay, pull it up. Did you pull it up?
Yep.
Okay, good. Now ready?
Yep.
Push down. Okay, the job is done, and now I'm just going to take the car out for a little test ride to make sure everything's working properly, check for any leaks, then I'm done. Okay, I'm just going to take the car for a little test drive here. Well, it's a beautiful day for a drive today. So far, the car appears to be shifting normally, the clutch is working well, and so I think my job is done. Okay, let's roll through the gears. First. Second. Third, and back down to second. Yeah, not too smart. So as you can see, I took the car for a test drive. Everything's operating normally, no leaks. So it looks like this job is done. I've replaced my clutch line, no problem. So the job is done. So thanks for watching Photomikes Garage. I will see you next time.